Hello, geeks and geekettes, and welcome to another edition of the Geekstation podcast, where we are reviewing the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, Choose Your Pain, episode 5. I am joined today by David and Ash. Say hello, David and Ash.
Hello, David and Ash.
Hello.
Hello, brilliant. How are you both doing, all right?
Splendid.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. It's nice to have you both here this week. Last week, obviously, it was just David, and then was it 2 weeks we did? Was it just 1 week with
No, I
Ash?
did 2 weeks because it was episode 1 and 2 in one, and then
another
3,
one. Yeah.
because I was dying, and
You
then
were.
last week Ash was dying.
Yep.
That's right.
And this week you're not dying.
No,
which
I'm
is
not.
good.
No, that's good.
It's
Yeah.
the first time all three of us have been in a room this small before.
Yep.
Apart from that one time in Tijuana.
Well, we don't talk about that. No. So we've just watched the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, Choose Your Pain. What did we think to it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's good.
Yeah. I really quite liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be quite interesting because I think David is enjoying the series as a non-Star Trek fan because it's just good sci-fi.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but
I
I'm
mean,
guessing.
you did earlier, but
Well, yeah, okay,
that's
no,
fine.
sure, but that's again a different story.
Yeah.
And Ash, you're obviously a Star Trek fan like me.
Oh, yes.
And I think you're struggling a little bit with the series. Not struggling, I suppose, but just trying to come to terms with the fact that it's not quite Trek.
Yeah. I'm an old school fan.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's absolutely, yeah.
trying to kickstart
He's
myself.
got as many Star Trek tattoos as you have Marvel tattoos.
I have no Marvel tattoos, but Ash does indeed have many Star Trek tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're kind of now the series is rolling along. Are you feeling a bit more confident with it? I mean, you just before we turned on the mics, you said you still weren't too sure about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting there, but I'm
Okay.
still a little bit apprehensive.
Sure.
But I'm coming round to it. I
Okay.
mean, we're halfway through now, so give or take.
Yeah, this series has got 9 episodes. They bumped it to 9 instead of 8 this
Oh,
year.
okay.
So
Magic.
we're going to have 8 this year and then 7 next year, I think, something like that. But they'll air in February, March time, so we won't have too long to wait.
Do you sorry to interrupt.
No,
do you,
no,
Do you
please.
find that you're watching it more of as a fan of just the show rather than it being a Star Trek thing now, or are you still kind of hoping for all the little nuggets that you remember to be dropped in?
I think I'm now a fan of the show, less a fan of the Star Trek theme.
Right.
But like I say, I'm hoping for some more Star Trek-esque.
See, for me,
Throwbacks.
it's growing more as a Star Trek series now. Like the pilot episodes, the first 2, the film, I couldn't. I was really. I mean, it was good, but I was like, this isn't really.
Yeah.
But now they're doing Star Trek-y things, and it's a story a week type thing. I'm settling into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm slowly getting into it, so
Okay, well, there are a couple of things in this episode that I definitely want to bring up because they're not very Star Trek-y, so we'll come to those. Just before we start, though, there was something that I realised that we completely missed last week, which I really appreciated, which was the Elon Musk reference.
Oh yeah.
And so there was a bit last week where was it Lorca?
No, we did mention
Did
it.
we?
I'm pretty sure we did because I said something along the lines of Elon Musk being canon or something like that.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Of course you did. Yeah, sorry. Okay, well, there you go.
Or
See,
either that,
just-
or I read it on the internet and I'm just claiming it as my own thing.
Yeah, well, maybe you are, but yeah, no. So
probably the latter.
Yeah.
That's what I normally do.
But they had a moment. That was a bit of a moment where they kind of shared because they referenced Elon Musk alongside Zefram Cochrane, who obviously is who I had to explain to you was the guy that made the first first contact with Klingons, and that's right. Yeah.
was it Klingons or was it Vulcans?
Oh, sorry, Vulcans. Sorry, yeah, that's it. I've just got Klingons on the brain after watching an entire episode of them being inside a Klingon prison. But
Yes.
there we go. So anyway, let's kick off this episode then. So it starts with a kind of a weird foreboding dream with Michael Burnham, and it's kind of what I really like about this series is that there's a heavy kind of character element to it. Yep. So that really starts to show she's obviously uncomfortable with what they were doing with the creature Ripper last episode, and it kind of opens. She's having nightmares. She's having bad dreams about it. Basically, she doesn't like what they're doing.
She's having a conscience.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, which
they do explore that later on in the episode, don't they?
Yeah.
And they're showing more of her human side, which is a weird thing to say because obviously she is a human, but they're also trying to get her as though she's almost quite Vulcan as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was weird, but it was funky. we almost skip directly to a scene with Starfleet Command and Lorca, and they're basically explaining that in the last 3 weeks, so since the last episode, that they've used the Discovery to do lots of stuff. Basically, they've made like multiple jumps, 3 jumps, I think. Was it? Did they actually put a figure on it?
I don't know if there's a figure, but obviously they've defended the mining planet.
Yeah.
They then said they'd stopped a Klingon transport.
Okay.
So 2 or 3 incidents, but they seem to be using it a lot.
You can watch it again and you can edit in how many times they did it. You can just do a little voiceover and
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll go.
Do it now.
No.
Okay.
Because but I could do, but I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
That's just too much work. So we obviously discover and we also Starfleet wants to start rolling this drive and these ships out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, mass production.
So talking about kind of Star Trek canon here, something is going to go horribly wrong with this drive.
Yes.
Because if it didn't, then, and this is set in the prime timeline, every Star Trek ship in the future would have one of these mycelium drives.
Yes.
So something is going to go horribly, horribly wrong at some point.
We're going to have a theory off.
Well, I think I originally thought it was going to be maybe that they're perhaps going to go back in time and then mess up the timeline, which is why
there are none.
Which is why it looks the way it does, and then maybe because it's supposed to be set 10 years before the original, but I think they may just skip over that completely. Possibly have something to do with the mirror universe, which we will come to at the end. That's a really good shout, by the way.
I'm quite proud of that one.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget to mention.
I'm not proud of much, but I'm proud of that.
No, okay, good. So, obviously something's going to happen, but basically Starfleet are loving what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
What I found really interesting, there was a scene between Lorca and the Starfleet Admiral, and we discover why Michael Burnham is allowed on the ship because of Starfleet regulation.
Yeah,
insert number
2.3,
whatever it may be. That says that you can draft almost anyone in a time of war, which I thought was quite cool.
I think it's like it might actually be a rule of war nowadays as well, or something like that.
Starfleet, traditionally Star Trek.
Making that up.
Well, no. Well, traditionally Star Trek and Starfleet have always kind of followed the general kind of American Navy rules. So I would not be surprised if there is something that says you can conscript somebody.
Yeah.
Whether it would be a convicted mutineer, I don't know, but I appreciated that level of explanation for the character and just kind of like, we understand this might be a bit weird, but here's a short line just to explain it, which and kind of just more of kind of the fact that Lorca is dedicated to what he wants to do, and I really like the character of Lorca, as we were talking about last week. I think he's fast becoming one of my favourite captains of all time. I think. Yeah,
he's very direct and to the point.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. As we discover this episode as well.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of Lorca so far, Ash?
I'm thinking that he's not your typical Starfleet captain.
Oh no, that's for sure. Yeah.
I like that about him. And only time will tell. I think we've alluded in the past that he's going to be quite a pivotal character in some of the mirror stuff. I think he's the one to watch. I think that's definitely.
Have we ever come across a captain that is there for war before in the Starfleet universe?
Yeah, we've had Cisco.
Cisco definitely. Cisco was
Cisco.
No. So this is Captain Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine. He was there was in the Deep Space Nine series for 4 seasons. It was the main story arc of the show.
Yeah. There
was a massive war between the Federation and this race called the Dominion, which also kind of pulled in a couple of other Cardassians, other races from the Alpha Quadrant. And so there was lots of war.
Yeah.
There was lots of war in that show.
Just at the start of DS9, obviously the Wolf 359 battle had just finished.
Yeah, that's true.
They've gone from war straight to war.
In fact, actually, it's funny you should mention that. So Lorca is obviously a captain that's born out of war. Mm-hmm. So we discover that he blew his own ship up rather than let his crew get captured by the Klingons, which I thought was just, it just goes to his character so much. But Cisco was also a character that was born from war because he lost his wife, obviously, at the Battle of Wolf 359. So, and his ship and his crew and all of that. So
a hatred of Picard, as we find.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
How did things turn out for Cisco?
He ended up saving the quadrant, but then ended up joining extra dimensional beings.
Is Cisco the main captain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The guy with the goatee.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not dead, but he is dead.
But he's on another plane of existence.
Yeah.
He's gone off to
What now?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's gone off to live with the fairies, basically.
Essentially,
it was a very disappointing end after 7 years, I must say.
Yeah.
Considering Deep Space Nine is my favourite series.
Not
So
the best ending.
I was a little disappointed with the final episode, but that's a completely different podcast. Anyway, so then Lorca is then presumably flying back to meet the Discovery in a shuttle.
Yep.
And a Klingon ship just appears, tractor beams them, and captures him. So a couple of things. How the fuck did they know that the ship would be flying along there at that exact time? It's a bit convenient. Federation space, Klingon ship just turns up. No, was I the only one that kind of just felt
I
a bit
agree.
contrived? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they have got sensors. They can kind of see, there's a Klingon.
Yeah.
Federation shuttle.
But
go
they
there.
but they also seem to know a lot about him. So they know that he's Captain Lorca. They know that his eyes were damaged. They know that he's captain of the Discovery.
Well, obviously, when he's been captured, and you find out who else is in the, in not prison, but in the cell with him.
Yeah.
He knew about him. He knew about his history, so he could have got some.
Well, I
some
suppose that's
information
true.
from him.
Maybe he's just renowned. I mean, the thing is,
Maybe,
this war's only been going on for 9 months, 8 months, something like that. 7 months.
7 months, yeah. 7.
So it's not really a long time to gain opinions, and I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed a bit.
The thing is, you're right. Mudd, alluded to who else is in the room with him.
Yes.
Does point out that he knows stuff about him before the whole Klingon war thing, like before it really kicked off. So potentially, that is the case.
Yeah, he's also obviously got a lot of disdain towards Starfleet as it is anyway. So
Who's this?
Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they turn up, when Lorca turns up at the prison, we discover that he's going to be sharing a cell with Mudd, Harry Mudd, who's a character from the original series. He was in one episode, I think, something like that.
2.
2. Okay, so I must confess, I have seen them, but a very very long time ago.
He a Starfleet pimp. That's probably the best word I
Right,
can use
okay,
to
sure.
describe
who would
it.
have thought Rainn Wilson would play a Starfleet pimp?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And he plays like he's like a trader, kind of con man, I think, as well. Is he trying con?
Very much so in the original series, at least.
So this is obviously him 10 years before. But from what you remembered, was he like the Harry Mudd from the original series?
I think what they're doing is they're taking characters from the original series and original shows, and they're kind of putting their own spin on it. We've seen that with Sarek, and we're now seeing that with Harry Mudd.
Okay.
Harry Mudd was much more proper, prim, and less gung ho than he is in this one. This one, he's much more. I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it.
He's much more. So he's much more 2017 than 1960, which is kind of the way the series is going anyway. Yeah.
Was he in the same position as he is in this?
No. In the original series, if I remember rightly, he was just picked up on a mining colony, surrounded by beautiful women, as all characters were on the original series, just so that Kirk had something to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If he wasn't following beautiful women around, he was two-handing punching people, wasn't
That's
he?
what he was.
Exactly,
Exactly that. Yeah.
It's a much darker view on the Harry Mudd that we knew from the original series.
Okay, interesting. So we flick back to the Discovery, and basically the crew of the Discovery is briefed on the fact that Lorca's been captured and that it's up to them to use the mycelium drive to go rescue him, basically, which makes sense. More use of the holographic. I'm still not convinced with these holograms.
Especially when they do a full body hologram of them, is unnecessary. You don't need to know what their feet are doing.
No, that's that's true.
Really, it was unnecessary.
Yeah, well,
I get if they're sat at a desk and they're kind of hologrammed into where a seat would be. I can understand that that's something that that could be done.
Yeah.
Like, and why it would be there, because it's more of like an official, like, not office setting as such, but you know, you're sat across the table having a conversation with someone, but just to be stood in the bridge, like
but this is the thing, is we discovered in the pilot that they can then just walk around the bridge as well.
Yeah, which is again a bit weird.
Which is weird, because what's he doing? Is he walking around? Let's just go back to that first episode, because something's just come into my head that I don't think we talked about. When he's walking around the bridge of the Discovery, is he walking around his own ship?
Yeah, he must be, yeah.
Talking to people that aren't there, and his crewmates, the fellow people on the bridge are like, what's he saying? Who's he talking to? Or do they all get... I don't know. It's a weird bit of technology, and I don't like it.
What if he trips over mid conversation,
yes.
and there's nothing there on the actual bridge?
Because he's looking at the... And how's he... Unless they're projecting all of the crew onto the bridge as holograms, how does he know where they're sitting and where they're standing?
He just walks through someone.
Awkward,
or as Ash says, or trips over somebody. Yeah. There's a parody. There's a comedy sketch there somewhere. Anyway, so after
we'll leave that for Seth MacFarlane.
It was for it will happen, I'm sure. By the way, slight side note. Seth MacFarlane's Orwell, very good, very very good. Nice tribute to Star Trek. But anyway, tune in for the Geekstation for my review on that, because I'll probably start talking about it at some stage. After the Admiral briefs Saru on the fact that they've got to go and do this, we then have a moment where he's in the captain's ready room, and this is back to there's a couple of things here. So it's back to the talking computer, where the computer seems almost sentient.
Don't like it.
And it even he asks for a list of captains of great Starfleet captains. And we were both waiting for it, but we were very happy to see not only Jonathan Archer's name on it,
Christopher Pike.
but Christopher Pike. So Christopher Pike...
I know Pike from the
original
movies.
Okay, from the movie. He's also in the original series.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So
because I know him from the movies.
Yeah.
But who was the other name?
Well, Jonathan Archer. So Jonathan Archer is Scott Beluga's character from Enterprise. He's basically the founding father of the Federation. Yeah. That's what they sell it as anyway.
Okay.
Archer... Kirk,
yeah,
carries on that way
basically, or Pike. But Pike in the original series is you only see him in the pilot episode.
No, you see him in 3.
You do. You go back. Yeah, they go back, but you see him as Pike in the pilot episode. Kirk takes over from him. Very different character to what you see in the films. Very different.
Very much so.
But it's a different timeline, so this is all different. But so it was quite cool to see that. Which,
really cool.
But again. This is set 10 years before Kirk. So Pike is already an established captain.
Yeah.
A list of great captains.
Yes.
It's a little bit, I don't know. Again, we're messing with Star Trek canon a little bit. But go on. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say the ship numbers don't match up to Pike being a captain yet. So
no.
We're like 700 ships early.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, because we're in 1031.
But that implies that the 701 was his first one.
That does imply that.
And this is obviously saying that perhaps he wasn't. And I suppose if he was if he was captain of the Enterprise 10 years later, the flagship of Starfleet, he must have done something to become that.
That's true.
So maybe he's decorated captain in the Klingon War.
Already?
Yeah, well, it's only been 7 months, but Lorca's already effectively a decorated captain. So
this is true.
They're treating him with reverence. So I don't know, messing with the timelines a little bit, but hey ho. But Saru asks the computer to compute this algorithm to judge him as a captain.
Yep.
Because there is this unknown element, and of course he's referring to Michael. And then the computer kind of suggestion, remove the unknown element. And we spoke about this. Me and Ash spoke about this in the pilot, and I'm not sure how you feel about it. But the computers just seem a bit too alive.
They seem a bit slow as well, because I personally think that if you'd have asked a computer in that advanced technology state, if you were to ask a computer a question, it should tell you the answer straight away. You shouldn't be like, computing.
Well, that
it should be like, this is the answer.
But
Like, to me, that would be...
And that's always been a Star Trek thing, though. They've
Yeah.
always
Okay.
had to pause. The
mean-
computer's always gone. But this is like interacting with an AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the computers in Star Trek have never been AI.
Seems like it has a bit of sass.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it does. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, you say it's kind of computing. The original series computer literally said that. You'd ask it a question and it would say, okay, computing. And then it would give you its answer.
Okay.
Very,
All right,
very
that makes more sense to
1960s,
me. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
But it's the sass that I don't like. I'm not down with the sass of this computer. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I mean, it's fun, and I liked it. I liked the line and the conversation. It just it wasn't very Star Trekky.
It's almost an additional character.
Yes, yes,
sort
yeah.
of.
Which again is fine in any other show. It's just, well, I suppose the computer maybe has been another character in the shows. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. We then go back to the prison Klingon ship, and we're introduced to the title of the show, "Choose Your Pain," which I actually think is a very Klingon thing.
Yes.
So we discover that the Klingons will come in. They say, "Choose your pain," and Harry Mudd points to this poor, distressed Starfleet officer or
the
Starfleet
guy that had gone out
crewman.
for lunch, or what did he say? Is that what he said? He said he had gone out for lunch or something?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, basically, he's
been beaten.
He's been beaten far too much, and he very sheepishly points to him. This is Harry Mudd points to this Starfleet officer, and then the Klingon beats him to death.
Stamp on his face.
He
Yeah.
pretty much curb stomps him, doesn't he? I mean, like, yeah.
Exactly
It's a
that.
very American History X.
Yeah, it was. And it was almost like he turned away and was like, "No, actually, I'm not done."
Yeah, I'm not done.
And then turned back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's brutal. And we didn't say as well, when Lorca's shuttle gets captured, there's a pretty brutal death scene there as
Yeah.
well, where they get the knife right through the chest and then right down as well.
Yeah, bayonet
That's how I
style.
would do it, though.
Well, sure, okay.
Well, I mean,
is this
it's-
something that you think about on a daily basis?
It's effective.
Every other day, maybe.
Every other day, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's effective.
It is. It's what the Klingons would do. And this is
These
what...
are more Klingon-esque as well.
Yes, they are. They're brutal.
Yeah.
And they're no nonsense, which is great.
Which is
but
what they should be.
they're just
They look
well,
too much like xenomorphs.
yeah, they do. Their heads are
Especially
really
the captain on that ship.
yeah.
Yeah,
When you see them in profile,
Bit pointy backwards.
yeah, I just
It was like an egghead, but just looking up slightly.
yeah, it was. So we kind of that's that, and then Harry Mudd explains that basically the way that they keep the way that the Klingons kind of keep the peace, as though keep you on their toes, is that you choose your pain. Either you get beaten or somebody else gets
Yeah.
beaten.
So you
Yeah,
can't
it kind of stops you like
making friends.
conspiring with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah,
and
that's
obviously
it.
Getting on. Because if
Yeah.
you just start pointing to other people, then
And then then Lorca says a very cool line, which is you seem remarkably unbruised.
Yeah.
Which is just like says everything you need to know about Harry's character.
And his next line is, I know how to make good decisions.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, yeah, which is just brilliant. I
Well,
love it. It's really
well
good. The writing actually in this show so far is, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
There's I don't think there have been a couple of cheesy. There was a cheesy moment actually slightly earlier on in the episode where the ginger character was asking Michael Burnham, and she was like, "It's not you, it's me." But then they recovered it by responding by saying, "Well, it's funny you should say that, but it usually is me. So do you want to explain what's going on?"
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they. Are you done?
as you were.
Okay, good, thank you. So it's kind of like there hasn't been that. We talk about cheesy classic Star Trek. They're not doing any of that.
No.
This is a true gritty sci-fi show.
And I think that's what's keeping me interested.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
As a diehard Star Trek fan,
Yeah.
it's the writing behind it that's kind of keeping me in as just a general show.
Yeah.
It does kind of feel how like conversations would actually go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like obviously it's difficult to imagine being in that situation, but it's how people talk. It's very well written.
And there's actually real conflict.
Yeah.
As I said to you last week, most Star Treks, like, so there was an episode of Next Generation where Picard gets captured, Riker gets captured, and Data's in charge of the ship. And Worf basically disrespects him on the bridge. And Data pulls him into the ready room and goes, "You are going to do this. I'm the captain. You'll do this. You'll do this." And Worf goes, "Yes, sir," and turns around. And as he's leaving, Data goes, I do hope this hasn't destroyed our friendship. And Worf just turns around and goes, "No, sir, nothing will ever do that." And it's just like the conflict is resolved
within seconds.
Whereas this, I feel like the characters are going to hold grudges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're, yeah.
I got that feeling with Saru and Michael at the start, but I kind of feel like they're balancing out now at this point.
I think that's
There's a peace offering, there wasn't there?
There was, but that's what I mean. She had to do something
to
prove that, because he was not going to accept that.
Yeah.
And I think he's still going to be wary.
It's that line that says, "Are you afraid of me?"
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then obviously they have a heart to heart, which is very Star Trek-esque.
Very, very Star Trek-esque. Okay, so my probably my favourite scene, but only because in Star Trek they finally said fuck. In fact, they
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So we were in engineering, and they're basically trying to figure out why. Well, they're trying to think of an alternative to using Ripper, because it's killing Ripper slowly using the mycelium drive. And I'm trying to think of this the Ginger Girl's character's name. I forgot. Tilly.
Yeah.
There we go. Tilly gets really excited and goes, "Oh my gosh, this is fucking cool!" And then
immediately.
It's
sorry.
the two characters that you wouldn't imagine swearing as well.
Yeah, that's it. And
because obviously she's kind of she's a little bit erratic, but she feels like she's always kind of playing with a book to an extent.
Yes.
And obviously, head of engineering is always playing by his own book.
Yeah.
Not anyone else's, his own.
That's it. Yeah. And so you're shocked that she said fucking cool. You're shocked that she said fucking cool on Star Trek to start with, and then you're shocked that she said it in front of a senior officer,
who then reciprocates.
Yeah, it just turns around and goes, "No, it is fucking cool," and it's just like. I thought that was fucking cool. Frankly,
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
It was really good.
There's nothing else to say about that. So the next scene we see that Lorca is taken out for some Klingon style torture.
Yep.
And this goes back to, they know that his eyes have been damaged, which just makes me imply that the Klingons have got spies. I mean, the Klingon captain.
She was saying she's from a spy ship.
That's it. So I'm sure there's going to be a Klingon operative.
Well, they explained it.
Well, they got Harry Mudd is giving their information for sure, but that's just, I don't know. I feel like the Starfleet captain having an injury like that may not necessarily be information.
No, he said it at the beginning.
Oh no, he did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's when he dropped it.
He dropped it into them. Yeah, okay, no, that's true. Yeah, true. Yeah, okay, no, fair.
But when obviously I didn't realize that happened at that moment in time, and I thought maybe that they just did one of those little beamy things on him. And
the little beamy things. They tricorded him. That's it. Yeah. Scanned him.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of these things.
No, sure. But basically, yeah, she does quite a brutal. Well, I would say brutal torture scene. She doesn't. Well, she does hit him, but but she pries his eyes open and turns the lights out, which is pretty harsh. I felt for him.
It's like you torture a cockroach.
Yep.
Is it?
No, I'm lying.
Oh, okay, right.
Like normally, you turn the lights on, cockroaches hide.
And then when Lorca's released back into the jail cell with Harry Mudd and this other Starfleet officer who we learn has basically been, I presume, raped by the Klingon captain, or
Maybe,
at least used, because he makes says a comment that I think the captain's taken a liking to me, and he's remarkably unbruised. So it's kind of like her bit on the side, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's probably, I didn't realise it like that, but that's probably a good comment.
Well, that's just how my mind works. That's that's what I thought of.
This could be explaining a whole lot of things.
Their escape kind of agrees with that one.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. So he just got really.
Wasn't that? Didn't we meet him before he went in there? Because he made Lorca made a mention to the captain saying that you've been essentially.
Yeah, no, we did. We had already met him by this point. Yeah. No, I skipped. I just skipped.
So because when you said that someone made a comment about something, I thought you were going to say that Lorca made the comment about humans not having enough organs to.
Yes, he does. Yes, that was a good line.
Klingon,
So there's obviously something going on there.
7 vaginas.
Yeah, or something, whatever it may be. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I must say, I don't know the intricacies of Klingon anatomy. So
isn't that what the tattoo is on your back?
No, that's not what the tattoo is. No.
Oh no, that's the Hulk. Sorry.
That's right. That's the Hulk. Yeah. This is where we discover that Lorca escaped his last ship. This is where he got his eyesight injury, the beginning part of the war, and he effectively escaped by blowing up his own ship to prevent his crew from being captured by Klingons and taken back to the homeworld and brutally beaten and choose your pain.
Was that implying that he killed his
Yes.
his entire?
Well, he said he blew the ship up.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know if he.
To
Obviously,
save them.
they all escaped and then he blew up.
no. He was the sole survivor,
He
wasn't
was
he?
the sole survivor.
Because that's what
okay.
he says. Harry Mudd says he's the sole survivor of
Right,
his
okay.
ship.
Yeah.
You know, this
Oh, I
captain
missed that
decided
bit, yeah.
not to go down with his ship.
Yeah.
And then the Starfleet officer's like, "Oh, I thought you were a better man." He was like, "Yeah, but what they didn't tell you is I blew it up." And it's like, wow.
That's what I
Yeah.
would do.
Like, this guy is brutal.
I did like that because it's the first kind of reference to the Klingon homeworld of Kronos.
Yes.
They haven't mentioned that that's where they're from yet.
No, that's true.
Which I quite liked, yeah.
So and the humans know it as well. They know
Yeah,
the name of the homeworld as
exactly,
well, which is
yeah.
interesting. Because there's a whole bit which obviously ties into the undiscovered country.
Yep.
Which is it the undiscovered country? Is that where half of Kronos blows up?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think there's a line there where they no humans been to Kronos or something like that, which is obviously not necessarily true because they retcon that with the pilot episode of Enterprise, where they actually go to Kronos in the space of like a month. But anyway, that's another story. But so they obviously know about the Klingon homeworld. They know something about it. But yeah, it was quite interesting, and that tickled the bit of my nerdy Star Trek.
Yeah, those
Yeah, it
little
did.
feeler things came
That's
out
right.
the
My
back of
little
your head.
feelers came out.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, it was good. So then we have the moment where the Discovery decides to go to Black Alert, and they've honed in. They've found the most likely position of this prison ship, and they're going to activate the jump drive. And then Ash goes, "Wouldn't it be good or wouldn't it be funny if when they did it, Ripper just dies?"
Yep.
And they jump, and Ripper just
Dies.
just
Wet itself.
collapses. Yeah, like it spews out all this water, curls up into a little ball, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, because I mean, we've just had this whole argument with Michael and Saru saying you're hurting him. Stop using him as the control module for this drive, and he's saying no. We're doing as I'm saying. We're going to use him. Dead.
That's it. Gone.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, not dead,
Well
just
done.
Well, we're just
Well,
in a state as
Hibernation.
we learn. So we have this scene on the bridge where the Doctor, who, by the way, this Doctor, his Doctor whites, they look very good, and he wears them very well. Not going to be very good in an emergency situation when there's blood.
Well, it's
and
the same
guts
as
and-
a normal doctor's white lab coat, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but at least I don't know that at least they're wearing scrubs or something
Yeah.
on their trousers. Like he is all in white. He looks like a navy
Maybe
dress
he's got
uniform.
the Never Wet sprayed all over it.
Oh,
so-
Yeah,
it is the future.
Just
Yeah.
drips
Some
off.
sort of quantum, something that's just making them all just
yeah,
maybe.
some quantum vibrating particles.
That's
that-
right. Yeah, that's
Stop
true.
things
I
sticking.
hadn't thought about that
Yeah.
actually. It's, of course. Yeah.
It may
Or it
be-
literally could just be a can of Never Wet
Yeah.
that he sprays on himself every morning.
So yeah, there's this scene on the bridge where the chief engineer and the chief medical officer are basically trying to persuade Saru that they can't use Ripper anymore because he's gone into the state of hibernation. And Saru's like, "Well, you've got to
Bring him alive.
Yeah.
just do it. I'll take
Dunk
the
him in some
consequences."
water and then
Yeah.
jab some needles in
Basically,
him.
hose him down,
Re-
get him rehydrated.
Rehydrate, and that's exactly
Yeah,
what he says.
wake him up.
Give him the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the doctor goes, I can't do that. And
I
he's-
won't do it.
Yeah, I won't do it. And then Sarah's like, I wasn't talking to you. Which implies, because he was giving the order to the engineer, which implies that he can't order the doctor to do something, but he can order the engineer to do
I
something.
think it's
Yeah.
probably the case that a doctor can't be ordered to cause pain to
Yeah.
someone or something.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been hinted that our doctor friend isn't quite chief medical because he says, "Oh, you're right. I've got to go help the CMO with
oh, really?
like a throat thing."
Oh, that was right. Yeah, the tonsillectomy for
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So
Ah,
so
yes.
he may not even be our top dog doctor. But yeah, David's got a point that he can't be ordered
Interesting.
to cause pain.
I was just because I was
Hippocratic
thinking if maybe and I was also thinking if maybe if in this timeline the
What, like a CMO would outrank a captain?
no well I
in
mean
certain cases, yeah.
in Star Trek lore the captain has been relieved many times or attempted to be relieved by the chief medical officer anyway.
That would usually be in the case that the captain was incapacitated mentally to.
Yeah, basically,
to
that's
take
what's
over,
happened.
yeah.
But I was thinking more in this timeline that maybe Starfleet Medical Corps is a separate entity from Starfleet.
okay, yeah.
Which again tickles the back of my kind of nerdiness
I can
because
see
it might be. You
sticking
can
out,
see
yeah.
it sticking out
Yeah.
because maybe they're not a fully formed Starfleet yet.
No, that would make
Because
sense.
because in Enterprise, they didn't really have soldiers. They had separate Marines. They were called Makos, and obviously they've been integrate. Jesus, I can't talk.
Integrated.
Thank you. With Starfleet by this stage, but I just wonder if the medical division hasn't yet been. I don't know. It was just something. But then I didn't put the CMO part together, so
Hence
yeah.
the lack of uniform, as you point out.
And also that's why they have possibly.
Well, speaking of, obviously, just touching on the point where you said that they don't necessarily have soldiers. Maybe this could also be a cause of the reason for that. That obviously he's a war captain. He's probably going to do something rash and probably something a bit stupid, and then maybe they're going to be separated from Starfleet as like the.
Oh no! This is no. They were separated before, so Enterprise is set 100 years before this. So
okay.
Enterprise is a prequel where you're being introduced to. So Starfleet's a very young organisation. The Federation doesn't exist. They don't, have phasers as we know them and stuff like that. So that's basically
They have rocks.
yeah.
All
They
right.
have
I don't know the timeline.
No,
Well-
but you're going to learn over the course of the next
yeah.
12 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to learn all about Star Trek, probably more than you ever wanted to know. So
I think Enterprise, Discovery,
TOS,
the original series.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah, and then Star Trek Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager all happen
Sort of at the same time.
at the same timeline in the same space of 10 years.
Do
or
they
so.
not? Do they not specify like?
Well, they do specify, but
Yeah.
they
all
also
kind
so Generation started, and then Deep Space Nine started 4 years into Generation's 7-year run. Then Voyager started 2 or 3 years into Deep Space Nine's run and ran for 7 years. So the whole
They kind of overlap.
they
Generation, the one with Scott Bakula.
No,
that's
Enterprise.
Oh,
Star
God.
Trek. Star Trek: The Next Generation is with
sorry.
Patrick Stewart.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant to say.
No. You'll get there, don't worry. Anyway, let's move on with the episode because we're running out. We're running out of little time. So we've had the jump.
Yep.
We then have the escape from the prison cell.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool because Lorca and the Starfleet officer. This obviously goes to their training.
Yeah.
They kind of
non-verbal
communication. They have I didn't even see a wink or anything.
No,
or a
there
look.
wasn't.
It just happened.
It was just like, choose me. I
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah.
And then it all turns into some fisty fight. And
That's right.
They escape.
Still no.
No, there was two-hand punching.
Was there a two-handed
two-hand
punch?
punching.
I missed it.
Yeah,
Damn
the,
it. I'm going to have to go back
Yeah,
and
not
rewatch
Lorca,
it.
but the other guy. He two-hand punched.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was
so
good.
they break the Klingon's neck, which
Yep.
is just brilliant.
Twice.
Sure. Twice. Well,
Yeah, both of them.
both of them once, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, twice.
And then Harry Mudd's like, where did that come from? And it's like, I've just been waiting for the right
Yeah,
moment.
Escape is a two-person job. I'm waiting for the right second person.
That's right, yeah. It just,
Take me with you.
Such a
No.
dig. Yeah, basically. And then Lorca, again, I just love this character, just locks Harry Mudd in the prison.
After smacking him with the butt of a rifle.
That's right, yeah. He's like, I don't like you, I don't respect you, I'm going to lock you up with the Klingons. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Anyway, and then they're running through. They vaporize a couple of Klingons.
Yep.
Just absolutely disperse them
Yep.
into that was,
Yep.
that was good.
And then the captain of the Klingon ship is basically comes after the younger
boy
officer,
toy.
her boy toy, and he beats her senseless.
Yeah.
Like he's
But he at that
there's a
point
lot
he
of-
was like he couldn't walk, but
no, but then
then he
suddenly
was like,
can
no, I
fight
can
a
fight a
Klingon.
woman. That's
Yeah.
fine.
And I felt like he was probably taking out the last
Yeah.
7 months of brutal torture
I
on
think-
her face.
I think that kind of harks back to your comment. Maybe she was a bit abusive.
There was definitely that's not a healthy relationship there for sure.
But
And then Lorca tries to shoot her,
Grazes
misses,
her.
but grazes her with this vaporizing disruptor blast. Presumably going to leave an incredibly painful and large scar there.
oh yes.
And you made the comment, why didn't you just shoot her? Because that's going to come back and bite you in the arse.
Yeah, it is.
Wait for the episode where that Klingon comes back.
I'm going to say episode 9.
Episode 9. So the season finale, the mid-season finale. Okay,
I reckon episode 7.
Episode 7. Okay, sure. Episode 7, mid-season finale. Let's wait and see. But she's definitely coming back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Are you going to take a guess?
And so is Mud, 100%.
I'm going to say that she's not going to come back until next season. As until next year.
We can just say...
So after Christmas, basically. After Christmas, yeah. So then they escape on these Klingon shuttles. Now, you said...
They look like peacocks.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen a Klingon shuttle.
No.
To be fair to Star Trek canon. I don't know what I'm saying now. But that was...
Yeah.
They had like these transparent...
sails.
And like these opaque canopies that they were under, and it was like...
They look like something out of Avatar.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was like an organic ship.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the episode from DS9 when Cisco and his son decide to have a bonding relationship thing
with the Bajoran solar ship?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it looks strangely similar to that.
It does. You're right.
Which I quite liked because it goes, okay, this is way back in the past. This is some ancient kind of technology. The Klingons are using a similar thing for their smaller shuttles.
Yeah, sure, possibly. But they just look.
It still looked like a peacock.
Yeah, I don't. And again, it's another time where they could have a space battle. It seems to me that in this series, that all the money has gone on the sets. Making Saru a 8-foot tall person with tentacles that stick out.
6'3.5" in real life.
Oh, okay. So he's talking, but he's obviously they've obviously done something to make him,
1.92 centimeters for the American listeners.
Yeah, yes, that's the right conversion rate.
I mean, it is. I looked up.
You said 1.9 centimeters.
1.92 meters.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought you were just being David, but no.
Yeah. I was just being wrong.
But they seem to have spent all their budget on that, and they just haven't got any budget left for space battles. We had this last week. With the Discovery just beamed in, and there was like, it just didn't look very good.
Yeah, it's almost like they beamed into the Klingon ships.
Yeah,
and that's what caused them to explode.
And also in the opening in the pilot, even though it was this big space battle that kicked off,
very small.
Yeah,
it was pew done.
And I don't know. I just feel like I just want to see more space battles.
Wait till episode 9. I'm telling you.
Oh well, yeah. That's it.
I work for Netflix, so I'd know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, as you do. It's a very nice gold suit you're wearing today. Yeah, that's all right.
Ash has no idea what that means.
No idea at all. No. We did a little crossover thing there as well. Yeah, from the Geekstation podcast proper. Anyway, so there's the chase. The Discovery just happens to be standing there, just close enough. They drop the shields. They beam them off. And at this point, Saru gives the command to jump.
Yes.
Jump the ship away, and they jump the ship, and the day is saved, yay. And we were debating as to, well, something's happened here.
Yeah, because it was quite ominous when he was like, is Ripper ready to go?
That's right.
Ripper, but he obviously said
yes.
And he was like, yes, we're ready to jump.
I think he just said,
can jump.
We can jump. That was what he said, yeah. And we were like, is it... Well,
I thought it was Michael.
I thought it was Michael as well. And then you said, oh, actually, no, it might be the engineer.
Yeah, I said it's either going to be Michael or the engineer.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it... I thought more likely it would be the engineer than it would be Michael.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he didn't say anything other than the fact that we can jump.
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of said in my head that it's more likely it's going to be him.
And then we go to engineering, and lo and behold, the chief engineer is lying.
I like how every single person that was on the bridge came down to see them.
Did you see that as well? Yeah, I thought there was like this procession of Star Trek officers, Starfleet officers. Yeah.
Oh crap, there's a problem. Let's all go down there.
But in possibly the most Star Trek-esque fashion so far this series, they go, is he dead? And he's like, oh, did we make it? It's like, no, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Even though he's been stabbed in the
4
side
times.
by the machine and injected
Straight
himself
into
with
the
some
lungs.
experimental DNA. And
it's very close to the Kirk and Spock moment.
Yeah, yes, that's it.
As they open the warp core.
It was actually. You're right.
Wait, what was that?
My air quotes.
Yeah.
What was core?
What is that inferring?
It's from the Wrath of Khan, which was that basically. So in
second film.
but also in the second of the film of the reboots, where Kirk sacrifices himself for the ship. Well, that's a take off Wrath of Khan, which is the basically what that film is based on, where it's Spock that sacrifices himself.
I got, but I don't understand why you put.
I don't know. Warp core in inverted commas.
Because obviously
warp cores are real, don't you know?
Yeah,
I got 3.
Obviously this
in
ship,
your pocket.
Yeah, how do you think I make my gold suits?
the Discovery has the standard propulsion.
I see what you mean by warp core.
Impulse,
This was the mycelium drive.
Yeah.
And we just talked about this before, the mycelium drive being a glass box,
Yeah.
which is effectively what the drive is, which I just... Anyway.
With 4 needles that stab into things.
So he's fine. The Lorca is saved. There's a very touching moment, as we've already talked about at the beginning of the episode, between Saru and Michael.
Yep.
She gifts him
telescope.
the telescope, which is very touching and
Very nice.
kind of now you can see the universe through
How she saw it.
How the late captain saw it, which is just wonderful. And you sense that they're bonding and they're fixing their broken bonds, and he's beginning to trust her a little bit more. And
he's just angry at her.
yeah, and that's fine, and I like that. That's going well. And then we see, for the first time in Star Trek history, our openly gay couple,
Who are
which
also interracial.
Jesus, yeah, they are just ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
Which is the chief engineer and the I was going to say chief medical officer, but we've already determined he's not the chief medical officer. A doctor. And they have a nice touching moment where it's like,
Very
you know,
romantic.
if I'd killed the creature, you know, you would have left me. And then he was like, just don't ever do anything so stupid like that again. It was very touching and very nice. But the hook from that scene was when he smiles at himself in the mirror, turns around and walks out.
And he's still smiling and looking himself in the mirror.
And then he turns around and walks back. So I didn't even... So obviously, I in my head, that was just like, oh, this is a side effect from the fact that he's just entered the mycelium network or whatever it is and come back alive. But you were the one that then pointed out that actually this could be a hint to the mirror universe.
Yeah. This is scary.
Which we know is coming because Jonathan Frakes has... I don't think he's directing that episode, but he said that there is an episode in the mirror universe.
Yeah.
So what is the mirror universe?
It's essentially the opposite of whatever you've got. So in the original series, you had Spock, the clean, prim and proper, very well behaved, very good, straight and narrow guy, and then his mirror opposite, evil goatee.
Evil goatee.
Evil goatee.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see some evil goatees in this series.
Right. Do you reckon the captain's going to be really friendly in them?
I'm thinking eye patch.
Eye patch?
I'm thinking evil with an eye patch.
So basically, it's not. I mean, the original idea was that it was a mirror, the mirror of the crew. But they then revisited the mirror universe in Deep Space Nine quite a few times, and actually, it's more just, and also in Enterprise, and actually, it's more just an alternate universe.
Yes.
So it's alongside ours, but it tends to be a lot harsher and a lot meaner, and you know, they're called Terrans, not humans. Yep. You know, and there's
although the species are referred to as Terrans in our current universe. Well,
that's true, but like Earth is Terra and stuff like that, and there's wars, a lot more wars, and everyone's a lot more brutal, and it's just, you know, and so this is going to be quite interesting to see if that's what they do, or if they do a mirror, and we do have a happy-go-lucky Jason Isaacs as Lorca, which I think would be really good.
It'd be weird, but good.
You know, and maybe like a brutal Saru, maybe. I mean, I don't... Saru with a goatee, would that work? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, just really long tentacles in the back of his head.
Really long tentacles,
Almost,
I don't know.
Almost dreads.
But yeah, so I think you're right. I think that's going to be a good...
It was very ominous as well, because there was no comment on it. It was just him looking at himself in the mirror, smiling and then walking away. And then
cut to black.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, that was Choose Your Pain. So far, did we enjoy the episode?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it.
Good. And Ash, you still have some reservations about the series.
Yeah, I will do, won't I? As a diehard fan.
But you're still good. That's it.
I'm still enjoying it as a TV show.
As a tattooed Star Trek fan.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You're good. Well, that's the main thing.
But I had the same feeling towards the films as well. So I'm imagining it as a new series, nothing to do with the rest, and it's doing well.
Excellent, good. So next week's episode is called Leth, which is also the name of the Greek spirit of forgetfulness and oblivion. So I think they're being very I don't know what the word is with their titles.
On the nose.
Yeah, well, kind of.
I mean, when after you watch the episode, it's kind of like that's why it was called.
That's it. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't know, but that's next week's episode. It doesn't give anything away.
Nope.
Choose Your Pain. I thought we were going to see more Klingons. We didn't see any Tukuvma and his mate in this episode at all. So I'm guessing that we'll probably come back to them next week, or at least I'm hoping. So anyway,
he's off bonking on the Shenzi.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, or they're all finding the witch elders to go through these trials or whatever it's going to be. I don't know. But anyway, any final thoughts on this week's episode at all from you guys?
No final thoughts from me. I'm just looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, so am I. I'm really into it. I'm enjoying Monday nights.
Yeah. I won't be here next week though, because
are you on holiday?
Yeah, we leave fairly early on the Tuesday.
Okay,
so.
Sure. So it'll be back to just me and Ash next week. That's fair. That's
cool.
That's...
No new thoughts on that one, but like I say, I'm getting into it. I'm enjoying it so far.
Good. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to this on, at the moment it's only available on YouTube actually. So if you've watched it all the way to the end, give us a like and a subscribe. That would be awesome. Also, comment in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Give us your thoughts, and I'll certainly attempt to read them out next week. That would be awesome. Also, don't forget to find out. There's loads of other channels, loads of other videos on the channel, rather. So check those out as well. Don't forget to check out the podcast, the Geekstation Proper podcast. This week we were talking The Walking Dead with me, David, and Martin. And we played or attempted to play Survived, Died,
or Zombified.
Or Zombified, yeah. And I think Martin did slightly worse than he did for Game of Thrones, Survived or Died.
Yeah,
well,
that's the story of Martin's life, really. Everything just gets slightly worse.
Yeah, Jesus, he's not even here.
I know. I'm sat in his seat and it's uncomfortable.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the meantime, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Geekstation. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Sinn. Please tweet me, let me know what you're thinking of Star Trek Discovery. And David, they can find you on Twitter at...
you can send a lot of abuse to at Marto TGS if you want to. And if you want to say nice things to me, you can send that to David at David TGS.
So that was at Marto TGS for all your Geekstation hate mail.
Yes, all the hate mail there.
Brilliant.
He says he will sing everything out, even if it's incredibly abusive.
That's true.
Him as a person.
He does actually say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and it's the only thing to say is it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from Sinn.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Excellent. See you soon. Bye.